Hey guys, welcome to another session of the JXC where I come up with a challenge and pose it to the community, and the community feedback the challenge with screenshots of heroes meeting that criteria. This week we are doing immunity set, the best immunity set hero they have, but Soul Weavers and Knights are excluded from this challenge. While I'm making this recording, I have to say this, thank you for all those who have submitted into the JXC. Of course, you guys have submitted your IGNs or even your Discord names. I'll give you the shout outs. Some of you guys were disqualified, again, not meeting the criteria. Either the image is too small, not 6-star awakened, or not having max gear. Those were actual criteria I was looking for, as well as I did want to limit this, I think, if I remember correctly, about to 15, but I'm gonna accept a couple more here. At the point of this recording, it's this is a pretty old JXC challenge, so I know that a lot of these builds won't reflect the actual players right now, since right now we have 90 gear, and I was just too busy with setting up RTA tournament stuff and just hunting, so it's just been very long. But the next time I won't allow that to happen. If I have the time, then I'll do the JXC, so it won't happen again. Apologies to those who have submitted, but again, thank you so much for showing interest in keeping this session alive. Those who have submitted but are not included in this JXC review, I'm gonna give you guys the honorable mentions right now. Zoldum, Jack, Zinc, Mingjung, Rice, Jagan's Hot Sauce, which is actually S4 on Discord, but he's named himself Jagan's Hot Sauce. Lewis DePerfo, Frost Jr., Lalit, actually ex-Lalit. Your Eins was very encouraging. I was gonna try to fit him in, but your image is too small. Weeb Yeti, Raven, and Deltoros. You guys didn't make it this time because, like I said, the criteria beforehand. First things first, we're looking at Andy and Cats, his Tenebria. With 90 gear, of course, these will all be very different now, but I'm gonna rate them in the lens of, like, we don't know what 90 gear was. So in terms of potential, I think every player will be able to do their own assessment on the potential if they were to convert the exact gear into 90, although I highly doubt it. Most players will look for better gear to make 90. But a pretty decent Tenebria. I think it's a bit on the squishier side, although he is going for some that helmet itself. I mean, I think, remember, it's like effectiveness, speed, HP, and defense on the helmet itself. In terms of substats, it looks like he was chasing for more tankiness. The speed is decent. The effectiveness is good. On Abyssal Crown, so most likely he runs some sort of strip beforehand if he's going to use this in RTA. Not sure, maybe on a Guild War defense could potentially be for PvP for sure. But yeah, on immunity set, that's great. Good start there, Andy and Cats. Next, this is Snitchu's Vivian. Now Stitchu is one of my guild members, so I actually know his progress. Looks way better now, especially with 90 gear. But this already at that time is already very tanky. As you can see, 1600 defense, 3500 attack, and 240 crit damage. Relatively low, but Vivian does have pretty high damage mods. 84 crit rate is slightly low. Proof of Valor, and I think he did run this Vivian on a defense, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. So I mean, she pretty much wouldn't go down really easily. Again, 1600 defense I think is really good. 177 speed on this particular build I think is a bit slow, but like I said, Snitchies already have a way better Vivian now. Maybe one day he will show it. I think it's one of his favorite characters right now. This is Binds MLK. Let's take a look. So we got immunity set, double crit set, and overall this is actually a very decent MLK on the 85s. Really good crit rate, decent crit damage. The attack is actually pretty good, and the tankiness is not terrible. This is actually pretty good. Would need to roll relatively high, and only having that 5 speed basically from the 88 armor there makes this Moken probably a pretty decent substat distribution one. 7% effectiveness, didn't even get an extra roll on the initial effectiveness, so that's pretty good. Definitely really good. 21 Sigurd Scythe. If that was a 30 Sigurd Scythe, yeah, I would say this Moken is very good. All-rounder, very good all-rounder. This is Tatsu's Surmia. So counter set with speed boot on immunity set. 75 crit rate is kind of weird. The crit damage is fine. The tankiness aspect is really good. Most likely, if he was gonna use this Surmia, probably swaps Hell Cutter, maybe, or he runs her with a crit imprint. I don't know where he uses this one. Looks like a usable RTA Surmia, to be honest, but since a self attack buff and a penetrate defense, but it's very tanky to boot, so that's actually not terrible, but I think the crit rate's slightly lacking on this one. This is ZZ versus You Fiend on L's Fist. 193 speed, 85 crit rate, 261 crit damage. In terms of damage dealer, I think it's not gonna do a lot. It has... Wait. Yeah, that's an effectiveness ring, right? Yeah, so it's effectiveness ring, so 106 effectiveness. That's very nice to bait in like someone using a crow or something. Even 150 effect resistance crows or an immunity crow may get stunned. Although the speed on this You Fiend is so fast, the follow-up might be really good. I mean, the concept with L's Fist is that on You Fiend especially, L's Fist at a plus 30 has a 50% increase to the attack and speed if her HP is below 25%. If she's paired with like a Maid Chloe, so to speak, Maid Chloe's revive is only 20% of the health, so L's Fist would be at the maximum potential with an attack buff up. So if they went in there with a cleave comp and cleaved out the You Fiend, then You Fiend comes back hitting even stronger. The L's Fist damage actually does increase a lot more so than something like Portrait of Savior. But only if it's at the maximum proc though. So 50% more attack onto that You Fiend. I don't know if ZZ Versus has imprint on the You Fiend, but if he does, then the attack won't really suffer, although he's really giving up a lot of attack for that effectiveness. In my opinion, I would almost like to see like a You Fiend with like relatively high effectiveness, but still on an attack based ring, so that you know, you throw him off. And also the fact that you L's Fist, because 50% speed on this 193 speed You Fiend, 50% increased speed with the L's Fist if it's procced at the maximum proc. On her base speed, I remember the calculation is roughly 50 speed. Roughly 50 speed. So if she even gets the S2 off with her own speed buff, she's gonna be going very fast, very crazy. I kind of like L's Fist You Fiend. I did run L's Fist You Fiend on a defense team as well. Took out some of the top players before in a GVG defense. It's just because the L's Fist throws off the timing, so they don't really expect it. So I kind of like this concept, but for sure ZZ is going with the effectiveness to get the stun, to get the strip. Comes in like real handy, especially if people are gonna be bringing in, like, let's say relying on, let's say like a Ruel revive, or you know, a Crow S3 on a certain turn. They won't expect this, so this is very big brain, very cool. This is Harupa's SSB. This is actually very decent SSB. He actually opted for Unity set, and look at that, he's sporting that Unity Hellraid boot, making it for good use. Unity set, so 9% on a Rosa, so the dual attack chance, you're looking at pretty high chances, plus 32. Like I said, immunity set is part of the challenge. The attack is actually not bad. Crit rate is okay. The crit damage is good, on point. To slap in that Unity set, though, he is giving up some effectiveness on the SSB. I do prefer myself, personally, SSB with more effectiveness, but I think the concept is very clear here. Getting dual attacks, build up the focus so she can S2 more often. I think that's kind of cool. And of course the target debuff if she gets the dual attack. This is Tan Man's Moken. Looks like a broken set. Oh, he's completed a health set, but he has a lifesteal boot. In terms of tankiness, crit rate a much lower than like the previous Moken that we looked at. Crit damage is fine. Attack is for the health and defense combo. The attack is actually fine. So yeah, overall good. I mean, Mokens, there are some really good Mokens. I won't say there's one Moken that Vinny showed me the other day, but it's a secret. It's top secret in his guild. It's so insane. I don't even know how it's been possible. I can't reveal the stats here, but that thing is just nearly impossible to reach. I don't even understand. This is Carl Bunkle's Little Queen Charlotte on a lifesteal set. I'm actually quite surprised to see this. A completed lifesteal set. In terms of damage, I think she will do okay damage. Her S1 mod has always been the gripe for me, that if you put it on a lifesteal set, it's not really gonna do much. I mean, every bit helps, I guess, but she doesn't hit hard on the S1, and the crit damage with the attack there, she'll do decent damage, but it won't do too much. In terms of a lifesteal set, I think is sort of wasted, but definitely interested to hear what he has to say. I mean, if you're gonna use the lifesteal for the extra boost on the S3, I guess that's fair, because then you will most likely get full health. But defense and health on this one is slightly low as well. 164 speed is relatively good. Don't think he's on a... looks like an attack boot based on the stats there. So I don't think he's on a speed boot. So 55 speed, I guess it's not too difficult to get from the 88s that he has there, and even if there are some speed subs in the 85s on the right side. Interesting build. Hala's ML Araminta, 145 effectiveness, very annoying, very tanky, pretty fast, and on immunity set. Again, she is a debuffer, kind of like Tenebria and all that, so I mean, she doesn't really need to chase all these other stats, but fairly decent. We got an 88, we got an 88. 2 conversion pieces on the right side. So yeah, if Ahala is going to be chasing the 90s on that one, the right side gear is going to be slightly tough to upgrade. Well, at least takes longer. This is Kerbeck's Assassin Collie. I was kind of surprised to see the Assassin Collie on an immunity set completed, but I suppose he was really chasing the stats proper for her. The effectiveness is actually really high on this. The crit damage is way too low though, so in terms of a damage dealer, she's not going to do that much. But in terms of if you're going to sneak her in, let's say an RTA, and everybody's drafted like single target threats only, then Assassin Collie is going to be a very good pick. It doesn't matter what speed she's at, really. And then on an immunity set, if they somehow, you know, have a single target debuffer that goes faster than her, then it won't also affect her as well. So it's kind of interesting, but the effectiveness is nice for the stun if you're going for that, and the silence, I guess. The attack is fair. The crit rate is actually pretty good, but the crit damage is way too low. Huh, what are you running on the 52 crit damage? So it can't be a crit damage neck. Huh. Oh, I'm trying to estimate what that neck is. What do you guys think that neck is? I'm actually really thrown off. I'm usually pretty good at guessing these stats, but I don't know what that neck is actually. Attack? Crit rate? Maybe crit rate. Probably crit rate because he has immunity set. Yeah, probably crit chance. Yeah, probably crit chance. Quite interesting. This is Angel 6155. Immunity set, speed set on Assyria. 104 effectiveness. That means he's going for an HP. I think he's going for an HP ring there, or he just got like really insane HP rolls, because the speed is fine, the effectiveness is decent, and the HP is very high. So I'm pretty sure he's right-siding the HP ring. That's an HP neck for sure, but 104 effectiveness is very high. Very decent Assyria. He actually noted that he does use it for Assyria Tamarine comp and even for Hell Raid. The HP on this one is very nice though, I have to say. They're saying that Nightwolf, it's a secret. There's like flat attack neck for the Assassin Collie. Yeah, this is Hyosuke. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Immunity set double crit on this cigarette. Very decent crit damage that you have. Now, although I know that the Taurus warriors do have innate crit damage awakenings, this is still pretty decent. And the fact that you have it on immunity, I think the attack is fine, especially on a 67. The attack is actually decent for a 67. But if you could hit 4k plus, that'd be great. But of course 90 gears are here, so what am I talking about? Decent cigarette, most likely usable with the CR boost. Actually, when we posted this, the JXC challenge, I don't think cigarette had her extinction dev buff yet, so the very fact that you already have her built is interesting. And immunity set tells me that she's PvP usage, so that's cool. This is Bobbich. Bobbich is ML Charlotte. Speed set, immunity set. The defense is very nice. He says he uses for a self-sustainable bruiser. The self-sustaining, you would really need some healers though. Like 1600 defense is no joke, I get it, but the attack is good, the crit damage is low, the crit rate is nice. Yeah, almost like a crit rate neck there, because your crit damage is way too low. Self-sustainable, I'm kind of, I don't know about self-sustainable. I think you need a healer with her, unless you're taking out only squishies. But like, there's only so much she can tank. 1600 defense though with her damage mitigation. I don't know. It's interesting, but I think that like, yeah, for myself, I think this Moken Charlotte is definitely way unexpected in my opinion. But yeah, I think not as effective for what she needs to do. This is Sari. Yeah, Sari's ML Ken. Let's take a look. We got this pretty decent combo. Immunity defense set and then the health sets. Decent. Defense slightly on the low side, but the HP compensates for the defense loss. I find the ML Ken topic on whether you should have him on higher HP or higher defense is quite interesting, because in both ways you're manipulating the defense and the health. You're trying to activate Seigar Scythe without dying, but it's very situational, and I find that some Kens work better with higher defense, lower HP, but it depends on the situation. That's why I find it really interesting about this. So he has 32 effect resistance, better than nothing I suppose, but a bit of wasted substats if you don't have his own resist imprints, I think. The damage is very strong on this one, combined with the health. 4k attack plus usually is with high crit damage usually will allow the Moken to kill a lot of stuff. Sour Pie's Dark Corvis. I think he was memeing. I don't even think he uses Dark Corvis. He has like a lot of weird gear. I mean, I guess if he really needs to use him, he can. It's on an immunity set on Crimson Seed. 140 speed, 27,000 HP, most likely triple S. 1400 defense, almost 1500. That's actually really good. Effectiveness is really high. The effect resistance is very low. Outside the fact that he placed some free gear and 67 gear on him, he has actually really solid 88s on the right side. Based on his substat distribution, the effectiveness is, in my opinion, a bit too high. Unless you really want that provoke. I mean, there are people who really want more provoke. This is ML Ken again. Mamba's ML Ken. So on attack set, the defense, in my opinion, is very low. Combined with that HP, this is slightly too squish. This is like mine though. I mean, I give myself the same critique. Oh, he doesn't have a Seigar Scythe. He has a Beerus Tooth. Actually, that reminds me. I think he told me before he doesn't have Seigar Scythe. So the high attack is a lot better for your Beerus Tooth here. Yeah, crit damage, crit. Yeah, it's a. I think it's a starter MLCan. It actually has too much speed. 12 speed, too much. Comes from most likely the. At least 2 of the free gear. The armor and the necklace will have the speed there. Let's see here. This is Ghost or Insomniac. He says to call him Ghost or Insomniac. It's a Japanese name, his in-game name. Let's see, Tenebria with 171 speed, 74 effectiveness. A bit on the low side, but with the tankiness that he brings to this one, I think it's fairly decent. Immunity, 15,000 HP and 1200 defense. Yeah, it's fairly good, fairly good. On Sierra Ren too. Sierra Ren could be very nasty on her too. This is another Assyria, 250 speed, Tinkle Seat, on a Midnight Bloom. Probably just a temporary thing. Probably swaps it whatever he needs. 71 effectiveness with 250 speed. If he's using this Assyria with Tamarine, I feel that this might be too fast, because the bottleneck of a Assyria Tamarine comp would be the Tamarine herself. If he uses this Assyria outside of Tamarine though, just as like a, let's say a death buffer, a stripper, then I think the speed is fine, because... Oh, okay, wait. Tinkle Seat actually commented 237 Tamarine. Okay, that's very fast. That's a very fast Tamarine. Most people don't give her that much love anymore. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's good then. 71 effectiveness is where I think that Assyria is struggling on this build particularly, but if you do have that fast of a Tamarine, then yeah, I think this justifies it. Although, seems like you're already running an effectiveness ring on the right side though, because you're not running defense, right? You're not running HP, you're not running attack. So are you already on a effectiveness main on the ring? Since you're here and you're actually responding. Neck was defense and ring was effect. Okay, so you just don't have really good substats for the effectiveness itself. Okay, got it. Yeah, because I was like, no, I should be higher than that. I should be near the hundreds. If you're really min-maxing for the effectiveness. This is iJuicy. iJuicy's General Purgus. Very cool expression. I still need to get mine to level 10, but it won't be hard with Wyvern 13 hunts right now. 211 speed. Now, I've heard of some very, very cancerous General Purguses, especially in Korea. The Korea side, like RTA, I think a lot of people... I've heard this, though. 230 speed General Purgus, very tanky with 100 effectiveness. Sounds cancerous, man. It sounds very cancerous for RTA. Sadly, I won't be building mine anywhere near this speed, just because I need my Wyvern 13 hunts to be efficient, and right now he's the most efficient one to run my Wyvern 13. In terms of just overall usage, I mean, if he's on immunity, he's on this speed. I mean, that's not bad HP defense. I mean, he has high base stats, so not surprising there. 59 effectiveness is nice to have. So very cool. 211 speed. Stat distribution, you have a lot of wasted substats, but in general, that's actually pretty fast. Pretty fast General Purgus. We're talking about 180 speed if you do a speed boot with combined with a speed set completed, about 180 speed. So he's getting roughly like 30 speed just from substats alone. So that's actually not terrible. Now that I think about it. This is Vinny. Vinny's Tenebria on counter set and on immunity. Let's take a look. 50 effectiveness. Okay, even dropped a bit lower, but the tankiness aspect is even higher than the previous renditions. This has a violin on, and I do know that Vinny does use Tenebria in RTA as well. But I guess 58 effectiveness is a fine one to have, especially if he roughly knows that they're gonna be low resist. But you can't know now in RTA. You can't really know now. RTA is just really weird. People are building really weird heroes with different stats just to throw off their opponents. And the very last one, this is Hippy's MLCan. courtesy of the Patron's Corner. So being a Patreon, helping me and supporting me, they get their slots guaranteed regardless of image size. Pay to win. This is his MLken. I have critiqued his MLken in the past before. He's not chasing the attack, he's chasing the health. I think what he does in with MLken, and I've seen on his Guild War defense, is like bait like a single target like nuke or whatever, without a sustainable like a healer or something like that. And then his MLken, I mean MLken, because the lower health he has, the more damage he does, so that becomes a threat and guaranteed crit. With the crit damage he has with Sigar Scythe activated, even though it's at a plus 15, technically, theoretically, this should work. Although I've told Hippy myself that nah, I wouldn't use that MLken. A bit too memey in my opinion. 19,000 HP, but there you go. I mean, he says it works, and it's worked for him where he is right now. So I mean, I'm not gonna be debating him on it. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Definitely interesting showcase. Hippy always shows some very, very weird heroes, I think. Oh, you use him as a tank in PvE as well? Okay, well, okay, in that sense, self-sustainable tank in PvE, depends on what the PvE content is you're bringing him into. I suppose like even something like Abyss won't be too hard for him to survive, huh? Wait, so Lara has a thing here. I want to read this out because I'm not quite sure I understand it. The best way to use MLken as a tank is 2k defense for higher heal scale. How come? Wait, why? So he could proc the Sigar Scythe faster? So he could proc the Sigar Scythe faster, but then he won't die still. So flip the effective HP, correct? That's interesting. I didn't really think about that. To use it as a PvE tank. Anyways, I'm gonna end that for this session of the JXC. Yeah, the effective heal is the same, but the heal is relatively bigger. Right. It's relatively bigger too. Yeah, because you max out your HP. But but wouldn't you relatively want a higher HP pool so that you can go in and out of the Sigar Scythe proc? I'm just thinking out loud. Hippy says he can almost solo Hell Queen. Okay, well that's actually pretty good. Right. Okay, so yeah, so Solara answers like if you attack and heal 5k HP, that's 50% healing. If it's 5k on 20k HP, that's only 25% healing. Interesting. Yeah, I would definitely say like if you're going for a tanky MLken, yeah, you could probably flip it around. You could find some defense subs, lower the health slightly. I think that could be good too. But I think more attack. I would say like 3k attack, and I would say that okay, this build is actually passable 3k attack. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna end this for the video recording. That's it for this JXC. The next one, or the one that will come in the future, most likely people will start having 90 gear. And as I'm making this video recording, and 90 gears are still relatively new outside of whales having like 60 pieces of 90 gear, free to play are gonna have a hard time. So for the next couple of JXCs, I'm gonna try to come up with some more interesting ones, not so heavily gear based, but the gears of course will still shine through. People who post a full 90 versus a player who can only post like 85s and 88s, it's gonna be quite a big difference. So it's gonna be quite interesting seeing these going forward. But I'm gonna end this for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.